I still remember the exact moment my world shifted. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. The air was soft, filled with laughter and music, and every corner of the venue shimmered in white and gold. I stood there in my wedding dress, holding my bouquet so tightly that my fingers trembled, not from fear, but from overwhelming emotion. I had waited for this day for years, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. My name is Aisha, and that day, I was marrying the man who had brought calm into my storm, Daniel, a Marine pilot, quiet, disciplined, and the kind of man who didn't speak much. But when he did, every word carried weight. He wasn't loud. He wasn't dramatic. But he was strong in ways most people couldn't understand. And maybe that's why I never realized how much I would need that strength. Because while I was standing there, smiling at the guests, someone else was watching me with a very different emotion. My brother, Samir, to the world, he was charming, confident, and protective. But behind closed doors, he had always carried something darker, a need to control, to dominate, to remind me that no matter how far I went, I would always be his little sister. And that day, I think he felt like he was losing that control. I noticed him standing near the back, his expression unreadable. No smile, no warmth, just silence. I tried to ignore it. I told myself, it's just nerves. He'll come around. But what I didn't know that day was that within minutes, everything would change. The music slowed. The ceremony was about to begin. I took a deep breath, ready to walk toward a new life. And then, a loud voice cut through the air. Stop this wedding. My heart froze. Before I could even process what was happening, Samir stepped forward, and in front of everyone, he raised his hand ... and struck me. The sound echoed louder than the music ever could. For a second, everything went silent. I didn't feel the pain immediately. It wasn't the physical impact that shattered me. It was the humiliation, the shock, the betrayal. In front of my friends, my family, my husband-to-be, my own brother had hit me. I stumbled slightly, my vision blurring. The room felt distant, like I was watching my own life from far away. Have you lost your mind? He shouted. His voice wasn't just angry. It was filled with something deeper, something ugly. You think you can just walk away, leave this family, marry someone like him without my permission. Permission. That word hit harder than the slap. Because in that moment, I realized something painful. To him, I wasn't a person. I was something he owned. Tears filled my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Not like this. Not in front of him. Samir, this is my life, I whispered. But he didn't listen. He stepped closer, his voice lowering, but somehow becoming more threatening. You don't get to decide that. And that's when I saw it. Not just anger, control, possession, a lifetime of it. Finally breaking through, the guests started murmuring. Some tried to step in, but no one knew what to do. My parents stood frozen, their silence louder than anything else. And in that moment, I felt completely alone, until I felt a hand gently hold mine, warm, steady. Daniel. He hadn't said a word until now. Slowly, he stepped forward, placing himself between me and my brother. There was no anger on his face, no shouting, just a calm, dangerous silence. Samir scoffed. Stay out of this. This is a family matter. Daniel looked at him for a long second, and then, in a voice so controlled it sent chills down my spine, he said, She is my family now. Something shifted in the air. Samir laughed, mocking him. And what are you going to do about it? For a moment, I thought Daniel would stay silent, that he would walk away, because that's who he was. Calm, controlled, reserved. But what I didn't know was that calm doesn't mean weak. It means controlled power. And that day, he decided to show it. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He didn't make a scene. Instead, he did something far more powerful. He reached into his pocket and calmly pulled out his phone. At first, I didn't understand, but then he pressed play, and suddenly, Samir's voice filled the room. Clear, undeniable. It was a recording, a conversation from weeks ago. Samir threatening me, controlling me, telling me I had no right to make my own choices. My breath caught. I had recorded it, but I never thought I'd use it. Daniel must have known, or maybe he had been preparing all along. The guest went silent again, but this time it wasn't shock. It was realization. Summer's face changed instantly. The confidence gone, replaced by something I had never seen before. Fear. You planned this, he whispered. Daniel shook his head slightly. No, he said calmly. You did. That moment. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was powerful. Because for the first time, Samir had lost control. Security stepped in shortly after. Not violently, but firmly. He was asked to leave. And just like that, the man who thought he owned my life was escorted out of it. I stood there, still shaking, not from fear anymore, but from everything I had been holding inside for years. Daniel turned to me, his expression soft again. Are you okay? He asked. And for the first time that day, I allowed myself to breathe. I nodded, not because everything was perfect, but because something inside me had changed. I wasn't that girl anymore, the one who stayed silent, the one who accepted control. I had stepped into my life, fully, completely, and then I wasn't going back. The wedding continued, not as planned, but maybe stronger than before, because this time, it wasn't just about love. It was about freedom.